Bread, it's just bread, right? Wrong. Think about it for a moment. How many of your meals involve this humble creation? Toast for breakfast perhaps? A sandwich for your lunch, a classic companion? Maybe some garlic bread with dinner, soaking up that delicious sauce. It's everywhere, a silent staple, a culinary cornerstone. We often take it for granted, this fluffy, chewy, sometimes crusty delight. But its journey, folks, is a fascinating tale of agriculture, chemistry, and a little bit of heat-induced magic. It's more than just a food, it's a cultural phenomenon, a comfort, a vehicle for countless other wonderful ingredients. Now, let's talk white bread specifically. The soft, pillowy slices that many of us grew up with. It's the go-to for a perfect peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It makes some of the best grilled cheese, no contest. Some folks might turn up their noses, pining for whole grains. And hey, those are good too, a story for another day. But white bread holds a special place. Its simple flavor, its consistent texture, these things are engineered by design. It's a product of careful selection and precise processes, all aimed at creating that familiar, comforting experience slice after slice. The importance of bread, any bread, goes way back. Thousands of years, in fact. Let's get started, shall we? Our story begins, as so many food stories do, in a field, a very large field most likely. Imagine acres upon acres of wheat swaying in the breeze. It looks like a golden ocean, doesn't it? This isn't just any grass, this is the common wheat, the very foundation of our white bread. Farmers carefully select the varieties they grow. They need wheat that has the right protein content, the kind that will make good, strong flour perfect for bread making. Timing, as they say, is everything, especially in farming. The wheat must be harvested when it's perfectly ripe. Too early and the kernels won't be fully developed. Too late, and the grains might start to fall off the stalk, or bad weather could ruin the crop. Farmers watch for that perfect moment when the stalks turn from green to a beautiful golden yellow. The moisture content of the grain is also critical. They test it, they wait, they watch the skies. Then comes the main event, the harvest. The journey has just begun for these tiny powerhouses of potential bread. Alright, our wheat has been harvested, cleaned, and is patiently waiting. What's next? It's time to turn those hard little kernels into the soft, powdery stuff we know as flour. This transformation happens at a place called a mill. Now, milling has been around for centuries. Think of old stone grinding wheels, powered by water or wind. The principle is the same today, just a whole lot more sophisticated and on a much larger scale. The goal is to separate the three main parts of the wheat kernel, the bran, the germ, and the endosperm. For white bread, we are primarily interested in the endosperm. This is the starchy heart of the kernel. The bran is the outer fiber-rich layer. The germ is the embryo packed with nutrients and fats. To get that fine white flour, the bran and germ must be removed. Modern mills use a series of rollers. These aren't your grandma's rolling pins. These are huge corrugated steel rollers that spin at different speeds. The wheat kernels pass between them and they are gradually cracked open, not crushed all at once. Now, our flour is finally ready for the bakery. Our pristine white flour has arrived at the bakery. It's time to introduce it to a few key friends. Making bread dough is like a carefully choreographed dance, or perhaps a chemistry experiment. The main ingredients for basic white bread are surprisingly few. We have our star, the flour. Then comes water, yeast, and salt. Often a bit of sugar and fat, like oil or shortening, will join the party. Each one of these ingredients plays a crucial role. Get the proportions wrong, and your bread might not be the fluffy dream you envision. Let's talk about yeast first. This is a living organism, a type of fungus. Yes, fungus, but it's the good kind, the kind that makes bread rise. Yeast loves sugar. When it meets water and a little bit of food, sugar or the natural sugars in flour, it wakes up and gets to work. It starts to eat the sugars and as a byproduct produces carbon dioxide gas and alcohol. Those tiny bubbles of carbon dioxide are what will make our bread light and airy. Without yeast, we'd have a very flat, very sad cracker. Water is another hero in this story. It hydrates the flour. It's a team effort in that mixing bowl. Section 5, getting hands-on, the magic of kneading and first rise. So all our ingredients are in the bowl. Flour, water, yeast, salt, maybe a little sugar and fat. Now what? We mix. In commercial bakeries, this is done in giant mixers with large dough hooks. At home, you might use a stand mixer or even just your own two hands. The initial mixing combines everything into a shaggy mass. But the real magic, the development of that all-important gluten, happens with kneading. Kneading is the process of working the dough, stretching it, folding it, pressing it. Why do we knead? It's all about that gluten network we talked about. When you first mix flour and water, the gluten strands are all jumbled up, weak and disorganized. Kneading aligns these strands, making them stronger and more elastic. This strong elastic network is what will trap the carbon dioxide produced by the yeast, allowing the dough to rise and hold its shape. Section 6. Proof positive, letting that dough get all puffy. Our dough has had its first rise, it's looking plump and happy, but we're not ready for the oven just yet. Next up is a crucial step called proofing, or the final rise. Before that though, the dough usually gets a little attention. It's gently deflated or punched down. This isn't an aggressive act of violence against your beautiful dough. It's done to release some of the large gas bubbles, redistribute the yeast and sugars, and relax the gluten a bit. This helps create a more uniform texture in the final loaf. After this gentle deflation, the dough is shaped. For our classic white bread loaf, this usually means forming it into a neat oblong or cylinder. This shape will then be placed into a greased loaf pan. The shaping process itself is important. It helps to create tension on the surface of the dough, which encourages a good upward spring in the oven. Now, for the proofing itself. Section 7. Into the Inferno, the science and art of baking bread. The moment of truth has arrived. Our perfectly proofed dough is ready to meet the heat. Baking is where all the previous steps come together in a final, glorious transformation. The oven is preheated, usually to a fairly high temperature. When that cool dough hits the hot oven, several amazing things start to happen almost immediately. First, there's oven spring. The yeast, in its last burst of activity before the heat kills it, produces a rapid puff of carbon dioxide. The gases already in the dough also expand with the heat, causing the loaf to rise quickly in the first few minutes of baking. As the temperature of the dough climbs, the yeast eventually dies off, usually around 130 to 140 degrees Fahrenheit. The gluten structure, which we worked so hard to develop through kneading, begins to set. The starches in the flour absorb water and gelatinize, meaning they swell and become firm. This process, along with the coagulating gluten, creates the internal structure, or crumb, of the bread. The moisture within the dough turns to steam, which also helps the bread expand and contributes to a moist crumb. It's a symphony of physical and chemical changes. Then there's the crust. Section 8. From oven to aisles. Wrapping up and shipping out. Our beautiful loaf of white bread has emerged from the oven smelling like pure comfort, but its journey isn't quite over yet. Before it can grace your sandwich or toast, it needs to be cooled, sliced, and packaged. Cooling is a very important step. As tempting as it is to tear into a piping hot loaf, cutting it too soon can result in a gummy texture. The structure is still setting as it cools. Commercial bakeries have large cooling racks or tunnels where air circulates to bring the loaves down to room temperature efficiently. Once cooled, most commercially produced white bread is sliced. This is done by machines with many sharp, reciprocating blades that can slice an entire loaf in seconds. Consistency is key here. Section 9. The future of your loaf, innovations, and a thank you. The world of bread, even the familiar white bread, is not standing still. There are always new developments and innovations happening. Bakers and food scientists are constantly looking for ways to improve taste, texture, nutritional value, and shelf life. For instance, there's ongoing research into new wheat varieties that might be more resilient to climate change or have enhanced nutritional profiles. Enzymes are also being used more cleverly to improve dough handling, increase loaf volume, and extend freshness naturally, reducing the need for artificial preservatives. Sustainability is another big focus in modern bread production. This touches every part of the journey. Farmers are exploring more sustainable agricultural practices like reduced tillage or precision agriculture to minimize environmental impact. Mills are working to reduce energy consumption and waste. Bakeries are looking at more energy-efficient ovens, reducing water usage, and finding better ways to manage unsold bread, perhaps by donating it or converting it into animal feed. Even packaging is evolving with more research into recyclable or biodegradable materials. It's all about making our daily bread a little kinder to the planet. So there you have it, the rather epic journey of white bread, from a golden wheat field all the way to your table. It's a process involving nature, science, technology, and a good bit of human ingenuity. Thank you for joining me on this culinary exploration.